So this year, a lot of my interior Halloween decorating is inspired by some merchandise I saw on a Facebook ad. Now I kind of wish it wasn't. Welcome back everybody, my name's Mike, here for Happy Haunting, everything about Halloween all year round, and today we're going to be taking a look at some fabric prints I found again on Facebook, just a random ad that popped up from a company called lightinthebox.com, and they do all sorts of prints. I bought several of these, honestly. I bought some that were big tapestries, and then I bought 3 that were door covers. That's what this is. And then I bought 3 banners. And I'm not too thrilled with my purchases. So I think that this lady, we took a look at her in one of my live stream videos when we unboxed it, and I thought it looked a little different. I mean, it was kind of hard to do this, to discuss her live without being able to see the advertisement, but I thought it looked a little bit off. And now that I've had some chance to really look at it, we can lay it down, compare the ads side by side. It's not nearly as vibrant. So much of the image is way too dark. Like, you can't see a lot of the detail in the stairway. So I'm a little disappointed. I also got a trio of witches. I think that one is pretty okay. And then I bought a skeleton or a pumpkin scarecrow. I decided I'm probably not going to use that one. The tapestries, I haven't really had a chance to examine thoroughly, but when the banners came in, I was so excited. This is what I was most excited for, and I am so disappointed. You lose all of the detail. I was really wanting to base my display off these 3 evil witches. You could see in the image of the merchandise I was buying that they are these skeletal-faced witches in like a wasteland of skulls and jack-o'-lanterns and whatnot. But the banners themselves are, it's just so much blackness. You can't see the faces really. You definitely can't see the wasteland. It makes me so incredibly disappointed. I don't know what I'm going to do. So we're going to have to think of something else. But in the meantime, I do think that these door covers are salvageable, just a little bit darker than I anticipated. So we are still going to put it together because, like I said, I've already got a new concept that I came up with based on the advertisement for this lady that I really loved. So I decided I was going to do my back stairway in a ghost theme and have this lady as sort of the backdrop, this sort of show-stopping piece in the background. Let's see today how that actually turns out. And I'm going to do that by making her, again, she is a door cover. She's got grommets in the corners. I'm going to frame it to make it look like a big painting or portrait or something. I do that a lot. It's so easy to do. So usually up my back staircase, I just simply change out the artwork every year. So sometimes I use these frames, sometimes I use other things. But making these frames is so incredibly simple. It's just door molding that I purchased, and then I will cut it to size. Usually, for this piece, I just kind of eyeballed it, cut it so that we would cover up the grommets. Then we paint it. I put a layer, actually a couple of layers of black, and then I follow it up with a couple of layers of just green fluorescent spray paint. This is all stuff you can get at your local hardware store. This green fluorescent spray paint should really glow under black light, which I love to do with my haunted imagery. So if I have some Halloween paintings, paint it this green, it glows with a little black light in the room. I just think it looks ghostly and fun. Once we have all of our pieces cut, just hot glue it together. Hopefully, if you cut it at the 45-degree angles, it'll fit together decent enough. If it doesn't, you can kind of touch it up with a little bit of extra spray paint, but that's all you need to do. Then all I do is tape the image in the back. It doesn't line up completely with the opening because I want to like reuse my products every year. So it's fine. You just sort of place the image centered in there, and I think it looks really good. I think we're losing maybe 3 inches off the actual image, but that's fine. And if you just tape it in there, take it off next year, put something else in there, you can keep changing it up every year, keeps your display nice and fresh. It's also very easy to hang. So if you could, of course, go get a picture hanging kit and tap in a hanger. Simpler way to do it, as I've done, is just take a staple gun on a high setting, put a staple in there. I mean, these things are so light that that's going to hold it on top of a nail or a hook or something. So we are going to want to use something more substantial to hang these pictures because they are so much larger and heavier, but we're not quite there yet. That's going to be one of the final steps. The first thing we need to do is hot glue this together. So let's do that. You are going to want to lay out the frame on a large flat surface so you can make sure that all of those angles fit together pretty snugly. And in this case, they do. I've got my hot glue gun all warmed up, ready to go. We are just going to run a bead of glue along the edge, a nice thick bead of glue. Make sure your glue gun is on hot, and then push the pieces together. You're going to want to make sure you do all four corners almost immediately so that the angles are correct, because if you get it slightly wrong while it's still a little warm, you can adjust it just a little bit. Just give it a good squeeze, make sure that it is all adhered, and it's as easy as that. After a minute or two of drying, you are good to go. These seams are pretty solid, and if they don't quite line up, they're not perfect, it's okay. Remember, this is a Halloween decoration. It's not for year-round display, so it's all good. I've gone ahead and marked the center point of the frame, so I'm just going to put my hook, pretty standard, you can get these in any picture hanging kit, and then use these little nails to tack it in place. So next up, we laid the image down on the back side of the frame, face down, so that we can secure it. Using some gaffer's tape, I taped the four corners so that we could get it positioned right so we don't see those grommets, and pulled it taut to kind of get most of the wrinkles out. Now I did actually put this in the dryer with a steam setting, just kind of work most of those wrinkles out. It did a pretty good job. There's still some more wrinkles in there. I'm not that concerned about it. But once we finish taping all of the edges, I think that's going to help keep it nice and taut and work some of those wrinkles out. Let's see. All right, so what do you think? My haunted lady portrait is ready to hang. This was so easy to do, and she is so large. It's such a beautiful statement piece. I can't wait to see it on the stairs. As I said before, I really like to just replace the existing artwork I have in my house. So conveniently, I have this artwork right here at the top of the stairs. It's a little off-center because there's a couple of paintings here centered on the wall, but I think that's going to work out well since it's a larger painting. It won't be so crowded next to the wall, and I don't want to put any extra holes in it. So let's get this down and see what it looks like. I really am loving how that turned out, but we are not done yet. We have our hauntingly beautiful ghosts, but we can't have a beautiful scene. It's got to be somewhat scary, and that's where my pumpkin family comes in. I've got my large pumpkin skeleton here we bought from Home Depot a few years ago, and I like him because his skeleton is very kind of gruesome looking, and I want that to peek out from beneath his little ghost sheet that is covered in blood because, you know, we have to incorporate my favorite board game, Clue, into my display somehow every year. So this man has met his unfortunate end by a couple of other ghosts, my little twins here, for which I have another brand new unsplattered sheet that we will cut to cover. And I wanted to use these guys simply so that we could see maybe their feet poking out the bottom of it. So we got a little work to do, got to get the wrinkles out of this before we start cutting it up, putting these guys on the stairs. I do think we might have a bit of a problem with the stems, but I've already figured that we can use something to round that out. Maybe some aluminum foil covered around it. We'll make it work somehow. But give me a few moments and we'll see how it turns out. So here at the top of the stairs is where we're going to take care of the lighting. I've put this black light, this multi-directional black light, on a pole overlooking the scene below. Fortunately, as you pass through right beneath us, you're not going to see any of this lighting equipment, and because this is an area of the house we never use, you're not going to have to worry about going up and down the stairway or in and out this door. So I've got my light here. Easily I can project the light in different directions so it hits the frames below and the big frame across. and I think it's going to be really exciting. We can even set it on a timer so that it'll turn on and off automatically. The only thing we have to do though is really wait for it to get a bit darker because we don't have any curtains or anything on this window here. It lets a lot of light in. So as soon as it gets a little more spooky outside, we'll take another look. All right, so what do you think? It didn't actually turn out as I intended, but I kind of think it looked a little bit better. So the main change from my original concept was leaving that front ghost a little bit more exposed, like his sheet is falling off of him, and exposing his little demon hands in the little trick-or-treat bag. I specifically wanted to see the hands so you could see it's not a person, it's some sort of creature. And you've got the two creatures, and obviously they have done something to the third, which might be a creature as well, since you could see his skeleton legs popping out. I might change those for some like zombie legs so it looks more like a human. I'm not sure, you'll have to stay tuned to see the final walkthrough at Halloween time. But until then, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we can make the scene better, or if you have any other suggestions. Overall, I really do like decorating with door covers. This particular company, the ones with this fabric, makes it look a lot more like a realistic painting as opposed to like a plastic door cover that's going to be very shiny. So I can't wait to see what the other one looks like above the fireplace. We'll take a look at that here at the end of the video. I did want to take a moment to ask you, if you would be so kind, please like this video and give me a comment and a subscribe if you're interested in more DIYs, product reviews, store walkthroughs, and more. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, take care, and happy haunting.